Jordan Walsh, the Celtics' only draft pick in this draft, meets the media for the first time. I'll give you my first impressions. We'll dive into exactly who he is and what he can give the Celtics. We'll do it all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course, the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And I'm here for you every Monday through Friday with a free, fresh podcast drop directly to your device if you're a subscriber. So open up your favorite podcasting app, hit that subscribe button, get this show as soon as it drops. Do the same thing on YouTube, ring that bell, get the video as soon as it publishes, hop into the comment section, join the conversation. Would love to see you there. I'm John Karalis. I used to play. Now I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. And I've written a book called The Boston Celtics All-Time All-Stars. Today, I got a chance to talk to Jordan Walsh with the rest of the Boston media. Got our first chance to talk to him at a community event in Cambridge, dedicating a new court for community center in Cambridge, which was very nice. And to join me here for the discussion, Tom Westerholm. What's going on, Tom? Let me unmute you so you can say what up again.
What up?
Oh, there we go. There you go.
Yeah, cool.
That's much better. Much better.
It was important that we added that to the podcast. I don't think this podcast would have survived without it.
No. We would have gone to 30 plus minutes and realized you didn't say what up. And I would have just blown it up. I would have started it all over again.
It would have been very similar to our lost tape from last week.
Somebody's like, you should just drop it anyway. I'm like, Nah, it's lost to the ages. Mm-hmm. It was the Porzingis Malcolm Brogdon trade, and that's fine. It's fine.
It just didn't. None of it applied anymore.
Just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. So that's all right. That's all right. We're here. We're talking about this one. We got this. I feel like this one will stand.
Yeah, I think
feel
so.
Like this one's gonna be okay. Jordan Walsh. The whole show's about Jordan Walsh. We'll talk about the plan for him in this first year, kind of like the long-term stuff. We'll do that a little bit later on, kind of who he is, what you can expect. We did a little some of that before, but we'll really dive into what we can really look forward to. And I guess my one preview will be, hey, Portland, Maine, get ready for a whole lot of Jordan Walsh. But I do, just at the beginning of all of this, see the potential for him to carve out a role eventually with the Celtics. So let's just start with the kid that I got a chance to meet, and he very much is a kid. He only just turned 19.
Yeah, he's young.
He is slight. When Brad Stevens talks about he can get bumped off his spot on both ends of the floor, you can see exactly why. He's a very skinny kid. So he definitely has time in the weight room. He's gonna have the plan that I am the most jealous I'm ever of a player. It's not the money, it's not all that stuff. It's when they are going to tell Jordan Walsh, eat whatever you want. Just eat all the calories, as many calories as you can, because you gotta pack on the calories so you can gain some weight.
It's bulking time.
Oh man, I have been bulking up for the past 5 years, and it's fun. It's a fun way to go. They probably will have him do it a little bit differently than the way I've been going, but still, it's a fun process. The thing that stood out to me is, first of all, his attitude, which is just like, of course, a guy who just turned 19 is thrilled. He got drafted. He's like the happiest. When you've been in the scrums, you've talked to these guys. As they get older, guys are less and less. Yeah. They don't want to talk to us as much. It was great for him to come in and be like, "Hey guys, oh my God, yeah, let's talk." And like, Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, keep going. Yeah,
It does feel like I'm on 2K.
it's kind of wild. So he's it's a fun. He's
I love
refreshing.
prospects, man. I just want to say up front, it's so pure. It's so heartwarming.
Yeah,
It's like, welcome to the NBA, kid. Like, this is cool. This is a cool moment for you. Like,
it really is.
nice.
He
Yeah.
talked about getting his jersey. He's going to wear number 27. He talked about getting the jersey. He said, hadn't put it on yet, but I'm going to put it on as soon as we're done here. I can picture him. Now we're recording this at 6 p.m. I can picture him at this moment standing in like a hotel bathroom with his uniform on, just like taking the selfies, sending it to his friends.
He's got the shorts on and everything for sure.
He's walking around with that uniform on, dropping like ketchup on. He's oh crap. Like
he might go down to the hotel front desk to get like a candy bar or something just in his jersey. Just asks about him.
I could just see it like full warm-ups, full warm-up outfit.
Yeah.
That was it really is fun. It really is fun to see a kid in that spot. Just he talked about, I've been in the city for 24 hours and I've already fallen in love with it. Like, well, yeah. I mean, you got drafted here, so I mean, of course you're falling in love.
You've got a lot of you've got exclusively positive associations with this at this current moment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that he has that right. He's just, I love Boston. This is where the people who recognize him are like, oh, hey, welcome aboard. Hey, this is a perfect moment. I walked out of the Cambridge Community Center and like a kid's like, oh, look, he signed it. He signed the ball. The kids are just excited because he's a Celtic.
Yep.
They saw him on TV. They saw him get drafted. We're not going to like spoil it and say, well, maybe he's a two-way guy. That's he's going to play. These kids are excited. He gets to like play the in the drills with these kids. You can see how they light up around him. Really nice event at the Cambridge Community Center. First of all, let me just say, they really remade that gym really nicely. We don't talk about the community stuff enough because it's not, people just generally aren't interested in that stuff. But I will say,
also they got their own PR team handle it.
No, right. That's right. That's what they got. Yeah. So, but I will say, like that gym, I walked in that gym, I was like, wow, they really did a nice job there. So, congratulations to the kids in Cambridge, so
totally.
But yeah, I came out of it thinking like, well, what a nice moment. And also, I feel like they don't normally put a late second round pick in that situation. They immediately put him out there for the media. They put him out there at a community event. They tweeted out picture with him and his family and the banners. They tweeted out a picture with him holding up his jersey. Just from a PR perspective, they're treating him with like, I was talking to one of the other reporters at the thing, and they're like, JD Davison didn't get this.
No,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
I feel like they're treating him with a little bit more, certainty. Maybe
I think that totally, and I think there are things to that. One, I think he's got obviously a better chance than JD Davison, right? Like I think you heard that in Brad Stevens' comments about both of these guys. Like Brad talking about Walsh was like, this kid is like pretty good. Like we're excited to see, like just kind of talking about him in more concrete terms. Whereas I don't know if you remember when he drafted JD Davison, the talk was all from Brad was mostly like, yeah, we want to be the first stepping stone in his NBA journey. Like it was very clearly like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be here. What's going to be here? We think he's an interesting prospect, but like, look at our guard rotation. Look at like where it seemed to be pretty clearly like, yeah, we think this is a decent prospect who might not have a future with the Celtics, but hey, like let's help him out a little bit because we think there's something there. I think the other thing, if I were to guess with a PR, the Jordan Walsh PR blitz, it is very heartwarming, right? And if there's a franchise that could use something warming after everything that's gone on with certain heart and soul of this team over the last couple of weeks here, I think maybe this is a nice heartwarming moment, such as a 19-year-old who just achieved his dreams staring at the banners with wide punishment,
Yeah. I think let's continue this conversation in just a second here, because I do think that there's something to what Tom is saying here about a little bit of let's push the young happy kid out there. Everybody's a little pissed off about Marcus Smart, so let's get this happy story out there. I definitely think that there's some legitimacy to that, and hey, who can blame them? So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in just a second. First, today's show brought to you by eBay Motors. eBay Motors knows that for a championship team, it's all about making sure it's a perfect fit. It's the same way when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head on over to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit, or your money back. Plus, because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, at the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only guaranteed, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Thank you so much for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Why not make Locked On NBA your second listen? Hey, I host on Wednesdays, so this is the Tuesday show. Tomorrow's show, check me out with Jake Madison. We got the whole league covered. It's going to be a great show, no doubt about it. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Let's bring Tom back into this. I do think there's some validity to your point, Tom, about, hey, guys, this guy is so much fun. And I mean, I'm buying into it.
Absolutely.
He's a giddy young kid. Here, everybody. Now, I hope that also, though, they're not just doing that because that's not fair to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I want the kid to savor this moment. I want him to have this moment. I want him to have what every draft pick should have, right? You are in the NBA. 60 people get selected every year.
Yeah.
You get a chance to, you are guaranteed for the most part to go to an NBA camp, have a chance to make the team, have a chance to enter their development system. From Victor Wembanyama to be the future of the franchise, to a guy like Jordan Walsh, who is probably definitely a more long-term prospect. But either way, you got to give these kids these moments. So
totally.
I hope that he has that and that it lasts.
Totally. And that's why I started by saying that I do think that there's something here, I do think that this isn't just the Celtics are drafting this guy to start, his development process in Boston. Like it, they kind of suggested it was with Davison. Like Walsh is a pretty interesting player. Like I just put a feature up on Boston.com yesterday, I believe, that, there's a lot of defensive promise here, like really interesting player that way. I think there's going to be things that he does this year if he does get minutes, or if you watch Summer League, or if if he does just end up in Maine for the whole season, things that he does in Maine that it's just really unique. He's a really unique defender in a way that I think kind of is going to translate to the NBA level, because you've played basketball. When somebody defends you in a way that you're just kind of not used to, it throws you off. And I think Jordan Walsh is going to be that kind of guy. He's got this odd, aggressive, like get up into you, but then move his feet, but he moves kind of differently. Like I was talking to his longtime trainer, Charles Stoker, who was talking about how the way that he just destroys ladder drills. Like, when he started off, he was like 6'4" as a freshman, and like moved like a baby deer, right? Except for his feet. Like he was this gangly kid, except for these feet. that were like a 5'7" guard, just like going through the ladder drills. And I think you really see that kind of natural lateral movement, that natural control over what he's doing. Yeah, he might get bumped off his spot because he's like 200 pounds and 6'7", 6'8", whatever he is. But he does move his feet incredibly well. Very kind of like his stride is kind of intact for who he is and how he's built. And I think I think he's got a real chance to be like a real NBA rotation player. Like his defense could be really special. With some development, like you've been saying. I don't think this is something that's I don't think he's going to be the 8th man, the second man off the bench this year or something like that. But like, I think, you are probably looking at a real NBA player here.
Yeah. And that's the key to finding one of those guys in the second round is identifying that special skill. What does he have? Does the guy that we're picking have a thing?
Yes.
That's like, oh, okay. And maybe it's buried under 10 other things, but you look at, now I'm going to say Jokic because he's the epitome of, so
I was going to say the same thing. Don't feel bad. Yeah.
Okay. But like, he had that skill of, man, that dude can like just pass. He just knows like where to make the play. And yeah, it was buried under a bunch of like fat and, whatever, and like just other things that you're like, I don't know what he's going to be ultimately, but God, he can really do this one thing really, really well. So if you can get that, if you can find that in a guy and then say, all right, does he have the mentality? That's the next step. He's got that one thing. Does he have the mentality? And he very much seems to have the mentality of, I am here to work. I'm here to do whatever I need to do. Maine, Boston, wherever, I'll go do it. And with the hopes of finding his role. And we all know if you can be an elite defender, you can get on the floor in the NBA faster than a guy who isn't a good defender and is a lot of guys can shoot. If you're a turnstile, you're not going to make the floor. But if you can get out there and defend and maybe like make a cut or two and get a layup or something like that, run out in transition and finish a layup in transition, then you know what? You have 5 minutes when the coach is like, damn it, we need to stop. Gabe Vincent is killing us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson is killing us. Somebody stop this dude. Like, that's where you get your moments. So it won't happen this year. I don't think it'll happen this year because I think Brad has been very clear about that. But he's on a path. He definitely has a path where his defense can eventually contribute to this team.
Yeah, I think when you talk about like the Jokic comparison, obviously you make for a specific reason, right? Not to compare this guy to Jokic, but like the thing about Jokic, right?
Please be clear about that, everybody listening and watching.
Correct. But the thing about Jokic, right, is that it's the combination of skill and physical, kind of like gifts with Jokic, where it's like, man, this guy is 7 feet tall and can pass like that. Like, that's crazy. You just don't see that. That's really interesting. And you kind of get the same thing in that way with Walsh, where it's like, man, this guy is like 6'7". He had the 11th longest wingspan at the NBA Combine. He's got this like, he's really athletic and he's just a great defender. Like, he's this really aggressive defender. It's like, there's something there. Like, and like all that physical stuff where it's like he does all the things at the size that you want somebody doing those things in the NBA. And then, and his, primary thing is defense, and his attitude is, I'm going to, like, I know people love it when a guy dives on the floor for a loose ball. I want to be that guy. Like, that's perfect. Like, he's a guy who defends violently. Like, that's great. Like, that's an interesting thing at 6'7" with a 7'2" wingspan. Like, you like that.
You definitely,
you see the vision,
you definitely like that. And the fact that there's Brad keeps talking about he has good touch. And does that translate into becoming a good shooter? I don't know. We'll see. He was not a big 3-point shooter in college. He only shot 28% in his 1 year at Arkansas, and that's obviously not going to cut it. But he did talk on, I believe it was either Celtics Talk or the team above the rafters, and above the Raptors. I guess that would be an apt. That also Celtics are generally above the Raptors in the standings. What a disrespectful podcast name that would be, by the way. Just above the Raptors. Just always just pot shot against Toronto for no reason.
It would be two-way disrespectful because it'd be a pot shot to the Raptors, but then also kind of disrespectful to the Celtics to be like, I don't know, at least we're better than the Raptors. It's like, you're better. Like, no, you're more than that. Like, you made the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, what are we doing here?
So Brad was talking on one of those podcasts about the first time he came in and shot, he hit like 60 something, and the next time he came in, he hit like 74, something like that. And so there's going to be variance in those shooting drills. Sometimes you just get hot. I mean, as well as anybody that sometimes.
Well, I don't get cold, but yeah, continue.
When you're feeling it, when you feel those first few shots go through, you know that you can put up some big numbers in those shooting drills. So if he can develop that shooting touch, then that makes him all of a sudden the dangerous guy. That makes him the NBA level player, because if you can defend, if he reaches anywhere close to his ceiling defensively, and then if he can never shoot, then he becomes like Roberson in OKC, who just fizzled out. You're like, okay, that's great, but we can't play you. But if you can get out there and hit some shots, and Brad in his introductory press conference, in his post-draft press conference, said like, hey, we think this guy can ultimately attack a closeout and hit some shots. If he can become that guy, all right, then yeah. So let's take a second here. How does he become that guy? What's the path, the first year plan here to get him to be that guy? I want to thank everybody for listening and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast. This week, we're going to continue our, as we continue forward, we're going to look at, Derek White, and we're going to do our individual player kind of review podcast. So make sure you're subscribed. Still Monday through Friday podcast. No one's giving you podcasts on a daily basis. You want Celtics coverage. You want Celtics on a daily basis right here. So, Tom, obviously the kid needs to put on weight. He's skinny. He can get knocked off his spots, as Brad said. He needs to learn, as good as a defender as he is, he needs to learn, okay, how do I defend the big boys?
Well, and the big thing he needs to learn is to learn how to defend without fouling, because
exactly.
He's hyper aggressive. But that does one of the things that his trainer was telling me was like, at least he gets 6 of them in the NBA, because he picks them up pretty quick.
Yeah. He averaged 3 fouls a game in college, which in college it's like you're in foul trouble with 3 fouls.
100%. Yeah.
So it's about harnessing the dog inside him.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. We'll see him in Summer League. So step one, obviously, we get to see him in Summer League, and we get to overreact to him in Summer League. I think the first thing we need to set the expectations of, if he can't shoot in Summer League, don't worry about it so much.
Yep.
I think they're gonna give him plenty of opportunity to shoot. I think they're gonna tell him to shoot with confidence. And I think it's important in Summer League to get him shooting with confidence. Just tell him, we don't give a flying F if you go 0 for 100 shooting threes. We need you to shoot them like you're Ray Allen, like you're Steph Curry, because we need to get tape. We need to see you. How are you shooting? Where's the hitch? Where's the, where are your eyes? Where, all of those things. Yeah. So step one is in Summer League in Vegas, I want him shooting a ton of threes so the Celtics can learn as much as possible against some other higher level competition, that next level of competition, and say, okay, this is your immediate homework for, August, end of July, August, September. So when you come into camp in September, we want to see these markers hit for your improvement.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think the two things that he needs, right, are to put on weight, like, put on some muscle and shoot. And that's not always a perfect combination of
No,
things.
it's not.
That's not always particularly easy. A couple of things about his shot. One of the things that his trainer told me was they had never put a ton of emphasis. I mean, the kid's 19. Like, there's only so many years of development that you can have had by the time you're 19, right? So they've actually never really put a huge emphasis on his shot. He said one of the biggest issues for him has always been confidence with his jumper. So, kind of it. Like, I think you're right. I think it's going to be important for him during summer league to just be like, yeah, I'm shooting. It's fine. I'm shooting. These games don't count for anything. I'm shooting. One of the things that you saw last year at Arkansas, second half of the season, he still wasn't like a knockdown guy, but I think he was like 35, 36% in the second half of the season. He improved quite a bit as the year went on. And then, he got home from Arkansas, and pretty much as soon as he got home, they've got him on this kind of regimen of like, okay, 250 to 350 makes every single day, shot. People, talk about how his jumper isn't broken. It's just mostly a confidence thing. Like, there isn't like a huge hitch in it or anything like that. It's just kind of like, he's always been a cutter. He's always been, he's more of a guy who kind of crashes the glass or does something like that than kind of spaces the floor to the 3-point line. So I do think, it's going to be this. I think will be the kind of the first time that there's a ton of emphasis on that particular part of his game, which it'll be interesting to see how that kind of develops. I think you're right. That's got to be thing one here. Just developing that as much as you can. Get as good at that as you can, because if you're knocking down threes, and we know he's going to be able to defend at the NBA level, and if he knocks down threes, then it's like, okay, this guy's for sure a rotation player. Like, that's a career changing skill for him.
So that takes time. Takes time.
That will not take one summer, correct?
It's not going to take right. So it'll take time. But once you dial in, it can't. Once it snaps into place, it can stay there. It's look, the NBA 3 is far. That shot is far, man. I don't know if people, but I have had the great pleasure of standing on an NBA court and with the ball in my hand, taking it above the break three and going like, that is way out there, man. How do I get the ball all the way over there?
It's a long shot.
A long way, man. So get that, and then okay, fine.
Also, on that note, real quick, it's also different. Like, so I'm like, we joke around about me being a shooter on this podcast. I played in a league one time where we played by the NBA 3. Yeah. And like, the other thing that's really different about it is like, even if you can hit an NBA 3 pretty comfortably, and like when it's a college 3-point line, when the NBA 3-point line is out there, people are closing out to you at the NBA 3-point line. Like, that's just a harder shot, because it's not. It's not, oh, let me take a step back and get a more open shot. It's, I have to hit from this distance with the normal contest. So it's right. It's hard. It's a tough shot.
So there's a lot that goes into it. There's not just the confidence to take and make. It's the, oh, there's a large person coming at me. Oh my God, he's fast. It's like, like DeAndre Jordan can get out there and hit some 3-pointers. It's just a wide open, whatever. So the next thing is the weight, is the strength. And I don't think you need to get huge. I think you just need to have it's flexibility. I think one of the things you need to make sure that you maintain is the flexibility when you're putting on weight, and it's base. It's as much doing the hip exercises as it is bench pressing and curls. Like, for sure. You want to go out there with flashing the guns when you got your jersey on, but that doesn't do anything. That, honestly, it really doesn't do a ton for a player.
Right.
If you don't have a strong base. It's everything. It's core, it's hips, it's quads, it's your glutes, it's all of that stuff. If you can get that strong base and not be moved off your spot, keep keep low, get that center of gravity. It's so important to get like the quad strengthening, because that helps you take the pressure off your knees. And when you're crouching and you're down there, if your knees are sore, you're not going to want to get down there. So you got to make sure you're keeping all that stuff. So obviously I know the Celtics trainers know all this, but I'm just saying for the fans, that's going to be the emphasis. He's skinny, and he certainly can put on 15 pounds of muscle up top and fill out. And I think as you get into your 20s, some of that happens naturally. Look at Jayson Tatum. Right. Look how skinny he was coming in, and look at him now. He's huge. The shoulders are like way out there. You can get that, and yeah, you got to keep shooting through it. And I think personally for me, and it's different for everybody, I liked shooting after lifts. It just felt good, and it just kind of, you just keep that range of motion out there, and it just, you're also mimicking shooting tired. So I like that. I kind of liked the feeling of like a good pump when you're shooting. It just kind of, you're aware of all the musculature. So it just felt like good to get out there and shoot.
Also, the first couple shots are hilarious because you're just like, like these little T-Rex arm shots. And
But I think that program there, if they strengthen his base and make it so when, like, again, Brad said specifically multiple times, he can get knocked off his spot. Well, that's all about getting low, keeping your center of gravity low, taking the shot to the chest, and not moving. So that's the thing. And so that's going to be a year-long thing. And that's going to be like, it's almost like Happy Gilmore when he steps into the pitching machine. He just takes those the shots off the chest. Like, he's going to have to like do that defensively in Maine all year long and figure out how strong can somebody hit me in the chest before I realize, okay, this is how strong I need to be to absorb that. He's going to get his ass kicked. He's going to get his ass kicked all year long. But if he goes through all of that stuff, man, I think at this age, with the body changing the way it normally can, and you just got this natural excess testosterone in your body at that age, you can really put on some good muscle at that age. Now you've got like the highest level strength and conditioning people. I think from today to a year from today, if we see Jordan Walsh at another community center, I think we can do like a side-by-side and be like, oh, this dude, look at this guy. I think we can see a major difference there. That'll go a long way into getting him into that next phase where he can start to compete for something on the NBA level.
Yeah, I agree. Lunges and hex bar deadlifts for 365 days. And you're talking about a different player. Like, you're talking about a much more prepared player for the NBA game.
I think a two-way contract makes sense for him this year. And I can see him on two ways. And the good thing about that is it's $500,000. So it's not nothing. Like, you come in, you make $500,000 a year. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good.
Do a couple more community events, make a little more bread. You'll be good to
That's
go.
right. That's right. Get some local sponsorships out there.
Do the taco. I mean, a little different with taco, obviously, but do the taco fall where you're basically jetting from Maine to Boston every single day to do a new commercial, and
man,
good to go.
Find a way, man. Get that personality out there. Make a couple extra bucks here and there. I like the kid. I think he's a fun kid.
You want a couple little fun facts about Jordan Walsh before we go?
Fun facts.
All right. So I'm not sure how public this one is at this point, but are you aware that he won a state championship as a freshman?
No.
And are you aware of how he did it?
Is it not basketball?
It's a two-handed dunk at the buzzer. A game-winning two-handed dunk at the buzzer.
Wow.
As a freshman. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
You know, like his coach was talking about too, how he it was a real basketball play. Like, he was supposed to be in the corner, the play wasn't for him, and he just kind of Karalis, you will love this. You know what he did? His guy helped off him. You know what he did? Backdoor cut. right to the hoop, jumping jacks under the rim, gets the pass, two-hand dunk, state champion.
Man, I love it.
Pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I love that.
So fun fact number 2. He's been an advocate for he has alopecia. He's been an advocate for alopecia throughout his career. Do you know whose house he was at for the NBA draft? Charlie Villanueva.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. He and Charlie Villanueva got close during high school, and kind of cool little thing.
That's pretty cool.
He has a brother, a twin brother, who I guess does not have alopecia and is, I believe, 5'9". So, so there you go.
That's amazing.
Couple little fun little Jordan Walsh facts for you. He seems like
it's like the movie Twins.
Yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Just some fun Jordan Walsh facts. Seems like a really interesting kid. And I mean, all these guys have. I mean, these guys all have interesting stories by the time they get to the NBA, right? Because they've had such interesting lives. But he's a fun one. He's starting right away with his whole trajectory changing by dunking in the game-winning, buzzer-beating state championship winner. Yeah,
I love that he was it's June 26th. That gym was humid as all hell, and he was standing there in full sweats, hoodie, knit cap. I was like, what? He's from Texas, so he might just be flexing. He might just be like, this ain't hot.
He might be cold.
This ain't hot. I know hot. This ain't it.
Yeah.
He's like,
he did tell somebody that he's been playing outside his whole life. Like that's outside in Dallas. Some of those summers. That's
brutal. That's brutal.
That's serious, man.
Yeah, I call it the opposite of like NFL linemen who, in the playoffs is like it's minus 20 here in Chicago, and here comes the starting defensive line shirtless. Like, prove a point. Like,
look, I mean, a lot of the best basketball comes from like the Carolinas, comes from Texas, comes from California. Like, these are warm weather young men. Like these guys are used to heat.
They are. And look, it is kind of funny that they trade away Marcus Smart, a maniacal defender from outside of Dallas.
Yeah.
And they immediately draft a maniacal defender from outside of Dallas.
I asked if they had a connection. The answer I got was no. I don't think they know each other, but yeah.
Now, and like I don't know where in relation DeSoto, Texas is to Flower Mound.
Yeah.
But it is not lost on me that the Celtics basically, and they don't play the same, and who knows if he's even going to make the NBA, but it is kind of nuts that a crazy defender, a guy who questionable jump shot, relies on defense, and comes from just outside of Texas, now comes to Boston. Now, obviously, Marcus Smart was the 5th pick in the 6th pick, and in this guy's 38th. So the talent level is significantly different, but the prototype is there, and we'll see how he turns out.
If you ask Jordan Walsh what one of his other top skills is, he would tell you playmaking. He's that's kind of like his big thing in high school was like grab the rebound and just go, and then distribute off the break. So he's he thinks of himself as a playmaker too. So yeah.
We'll see how it goes, man. I love this time of year. Everybody's great. Jordan Walsh, 38th pick. And he's the Marcus Smart replacement.
Future NBA starter.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's the beauty of podcasting at the end of June in the NBA. Tom, appreciate you as always.
Appreciate you, man.
And I appreciate all of you listeners, you everydayers, you Monday through Friday folks. Love you to death. The fact that you're popping on this podcast on your way to work, at work, in the shower, walking the dog, whatever the hell it is. I just love that you do it. Here for you Monday through Friday. So make sure you subscribe if you're new. If you're a regular listener, would love it if you shared the podcast. Tell everybody, tell your friends, tell your family, tell perfect strangers on the street. Yell it from your car as you're driving by people. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.